Started, it was 1:30 in the morning. I woke up at around midnight and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I was just like, screw it. Let's just kick this thing off. It's the middle of the night, so it's nice and cool. 28 miles. I think it'd be good to do it within 8 hours. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if it doesn't happen. I just want to get to that 28 miles. We'll see. About to make this ruck my bitch. First tip, ruck marching tip. If you're trying to do ruck marching for time, right? Like if you're going to a selection or you're in rap week for ranger school, or you're just like at your unit and you're trying to make that 12 miles in 3 hours and you seem to have a hard time with it. One basic principle of ruck marching, everybody that has experience will agree with me on this. Always walk the uphills, run the downhills. Okay, if you do that, you're gonna be good. You know, running a little bit every now and again, you're gonna make that 15-mile mark, no matter how slow you're walking. Your walking is your brakes, but as long as you're jogging it out every now and then, you'll be all right. That's a lot of people say it's not good for your back to ruck run and all that. Like that might be true, but like there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily good for you that have to do with fitness, especially when you're in the army or in the military in general. Like, dude, you just got to get over that. Don't use that as an excuse. Just try to mitigate it, you know. Make sure your pack's all secured. Make sure it's not flopping around all over you. Make sure you keep it tight when you're running. Don't let it just be jerking on you the whole time. Of course, it's gonna hurt your back. It's gonna hurt your knees. Yeah, I got it. You don't have to keep telling me that, you know. But I've been doing this for years. I'm pretty good at it, and I have minimal issues. I guess my point is, don't find reasons to make excuses for you not to be able to accomplish something. The easiest thing to do is to find reasons why you can't do something. The hard part is finding reasons why you can do something. Challenge yourself to do that. Find reasons why you should succeed, why you should accomplish your goal. Put the excuses aside. Do yourself that favor. All right? Tip 1. Boots. Okay, I can't stress enough, like find yourself a good pair of boots and don't switch them out when you're training for long distance ruck marching. Again, if you're trying to go to selection or ranger school or anything like that where you're going to be rucking for a long time, you find yourself like a pair of boots that you like, that fit you the best. You know, they don't mess up your toes, they don't give you blisters as much, stuff like that. And stick to them. Don't switch them out. Stick to those boots and those boots only. Same thing with socks. Find yourself a good pair of socks and stick to those socks. Train with those socks, train with those boots, and don't switch them out. And also, you know, don't try to be that guy that's like, why are you finding the boots that are like running shoes and they look so comfy? And I posted a picture a while back. And a lot of guys were like, look at these guys. What do they know about ruck marching? They're wearing running shoes or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Oh, we were definitely wearing Garmont boots. And they were not running shoes. Granted, they might be a little more comfortable than like Belleville's, you know, or Army issue boots. But I mean, is that really what you're going to do? You're going to wear Army issue boots for long distance ruck marches? Like, that doesn't sound like a very smart idea to me, bro. So, moral of the story is, find yourself a good pair of boots. Make sure they're comfortable. Make sure they're sustainable. Make sure they're not going to fall apart on you. And stick to them. So it's like, we're about 5 miles in, still just started. It's It's 2:30, a little after 2:30. So there's like nobody out, but of course, one person just drove by in like a beat up old SUV, and she yelled out at me, "Where's your face mask?" Like, okay, Karen, where's my face mask? There's nobody out here. Don't be like Karen, man. All right, so about 8 miles in, probably should have worn a freaking headlamp because I was running and of course I fell. Damn it. Yep, there's rocks in there. And yeah, it wasn't graceful. That's what I get. It's like the worst place to fucking, it's like the worst place to scrape yourself up, man. It burns. It'll be all right, but that's not cool. So, some more advice. So I have like a little bit of a ranger school story for you that hopefully will have a good moral. I'm a winter ranger, so when I was in mountains, I was there for like November going into December, so it was cold all the time, snowing all the time. It was like complete misery. And anybody that's ever been to ranger school, whether they're successful or not, can tell you that mountains is really the phase where, like, that's like your come to Jesus time. Like, there will be a moment during mountains where you don't even want to exist anymore. Most of the dudes I know that are honest with themselves will tell you about the story of when they cried at mountains. There's like a moment where you literally break down and you're just like, you don't even know what to think anymore. I can't even describe it. But you get past it, you move on. What I want to say is, sometimes when you're feeling like that, when you're feeling so down that you just feel like it's impossible or it just couldn't get any worse, like, it can always get worse. I promise you that. It can always get worse, and you have to keep things into perspective and try not to take things too seriously. Like, I remember it was day 8 out of the, I think it was day 8 out of the 10-day FTX. Just got done like snowing. I mean, there was like a foot of freaking snow on the ground, and we're trudging like back down Hawk Mountain and like barely getting through the snow. And I'm not gonna say his name, but if he's watching this, I'm sure he'll probably call me out for it. But like, me and one of my other ranger buddies, like, we're just having the hardest time getting through the snow and getting down this mountain. And he was just pissed. I mean, like, just yelling, cussing. I mean, our eyes weren't really around us, so, it wasn't a big deal. But he was like cussing, like, just bitching everywhere. And I just started laughing. Like, I just started uncontrollably laughing. He was falling all over the place, like falling on his ass. He kept telling me how it wasn't funny. It's not funny, man. And I just could not stop laughing. But the point is, like, sometimes you just have to laugh. Like, you just have to see that, you know what, man, like, this couldn't get any worse. You might as well just try to have a good time with it, because, like, what else are you gonna do? Just try to put on a smiley face, laugh a little, and just get through it, man. Because no matter what, you're gonna get to the end. If you just keep going, you'll eventually get to where you're going. Never take things too seriously. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible, and it could always be worse. All right, so just smile. Just shy of 12 miles. I'm out here like in the mall parking lot, and it just seems like the right place to be taking the Ruck off for a minute, not looking too crazy. So get myself some licky chewies, check all the systems, probably plug in the phone for a minute, and just take a little bit of a break. When you're doing anything long distance, like endurance training, whether it be like running or ruck marching like this, or anything that you're gonna be out there for a long time, nutrition is super essential. Nutrition and hydration. So even though it's not really hot right now for me, and I actually am sweating a little bit, but I'm not sweating too bad. I'm feeling okay right now, but like, if I don't take care of myself now, then it's going to be too late by the time I actually need it. So like what I'm trying to say is, hopefully this is working. Yeah, I think it's working. All right, what I'm trying to say is you need to give yourself like proper nutrition well in advance of when your body actually demands it of you. So don't wait till you're feeling like shit to eat something during your event or to drink something during your event. You gotta kind of do it prior to. And it all depends on like how well your training plan is, like what you're actually training for, to know exactly when that would be for you. But just know that if you are in some sort of endurance training program, if you're in a selection, if you're training for a selection, if you're going to ranger school, all these things, or if you're just a long distance runner in training, all that stuff, like you need to eat on the go. Make sure you're eating prior to actually needing it. So what I'm gonna do is have some of these extreme sport beans, quick energy for sports performance. I'm gonna try these out, but apparently it's got carbs, electrolytes, vitamins B and C. It's only 100 calories, which is a little low, I think, but I have more stuff. So, but I'll have this, got a little caffeine in it. I'm definitely like a caffeine kind of guy. So since I'm working this hard, I know if I don't have a little bit of caffeine now, like I'll definitely feel it later. So, but this should give me a pretty good boost, especially at the 12 mile mark, which is a little less than halfway. Let me put this down. This, and then, oh shit, lost one. Don't want to lose it. 5-second rule. All right, so I'm gonna down these. I'm gonna drink some water. I also have this Stinger bar, which these things are freaking money. They go down really easy. It's got 140 calories, like straight carbs, and they make you feel great after you eat it. So I have that, and then I also have something else in there. I think I have like some like Gatorade chews or something. So I'll chew on those a little later. But I'm just kind of trying to pack in what I can now. I probably should be eating more, but I'm just gonna kind of go, I know my body pretty well. I've been doing this for a while, so like I'm just gonna see how far I can go and sustain myself with as little as possible. I want to just see what I'm made of, you know what I mean? I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're like unless you're experienced in endurance. But yeah, so feeling pretty good, almost at 12 miles. A little bit. We're doing pretty good on time. A little bit faster than 3 hours, so like definitely 15-minute pace. Feeling good, man. I think the sun will be up in about 2 hours. Yeah. When you talk about nutrition, you really are trying to focus on carbs. Carbs, salts if you're sweating a lot. And a little bit of protein. You don't want to overdo it on the protein because it's harder to digest. So like it's going to be, if you're like running or doing anything long distance, you're definitely going to feel that in your gut. It's going to be harder for you to move. You're not going to get like that quick burst of energy that you need. It's going to sustain you a little more, but it's going to be harder to digest. So not too much protein, not too much fats, mostly carbs. Okay, look for those sugars, fruits. I mean, even like jelly beans will work. Gummy worms, like those are good things to have in your pocket, especially when you're doing like a ruck march or a long distance run. So about almost 15 miles in, a little past halfway. The sun's coming up, which is pretty cool. I'm ready for the sun to come up. All right, so sun's coming up. If you have any aspirations, whether it's like to run a marathon or half marathon or whatever, you know, maybe a 5K. If you're a soldier, you're trying to go to Ranger School, you're trying to go to selection, you're trying to, you know, broaden yourself in some way. You really have to be careful about who you surround yourself with, and then who you tell about your goals and your aspirations. You just got to be careful for those kind of people the kind of people that I like to call like downer people. Okay, so like when you tell people about the things that you want to do, and to them it might sound like impossible, these kind of people sometimes have the tendency to kind of try to talk you out of doing something. It might give you an excuse to try to find an excuse to not do something. So like an example, right? I'm always using Ranger School as an example, but you know, I'm a soldier, so that's just the way it is. So Ranger School is really hard school, right? Usually when you go to, I'd say it's probably it's a little more than 50-50, but like something about 50-50 of the time, especially when you're talking to guys that like don't have the aspiration to go to Ranger School at all. You know, you tell them about Ranger School, or before I even went to Ranger School, told them I wanted to go to Ranger School. And a lot of times you'll get, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to put yourself through something that difficult? Or why would you want to hurt yourself? Or, you know, screw that's too hard. That's just not necessary. You don't need it. You don't need it. That's the worst. You don't need it. Well, no shit, you don't need it, you know. But the whole point is that you're accomplishing something that is difficult, something that you not only have to like train yourself for, but you have to have the fortitude, mentally and physically, to get over that hump, to put in the work, and to be proud of what you have in the end. You know, you find yourself a goal and you accomplish it. I just got I'm coming up on 21 miles, had a 5-hour energy, and now I just got like all the energy in the world. I think it's also that second wind, you know, and plus I'm going downhill, so that's awesome. But yeah, so like, I don't know about everybody else, but a lot of people I talk to with long runs and endurance stuff, it seems like they get their second winds like just past the halfway mark. Like when at about 14 miles today, like I knew I was halfway, and I was like, ugh. You know, like that was, I guess that's what you call like the wall. It's like the moment. Like, well, I still got another whole this to do, you know, at the halfway mark. But now, I think like the closer you get to the end, it's like, woo, you know, second wind shit. The advice I have for that is always look forward to the second wind. Once you're at that point where you're hitting the wall, you've got to push past that. And I know it can be hard to do that. I feel like people are just watching me talk to this camera like, what the fuck's that guy doing? Anyway, the second wind, right? Look forward to that second wind, because that definitely gets you through. I always look forward to the second wind. But the wall's hard. It's usually at my halfway mark with my long distance stuff. It's when I start like feeling sorry for myself, but you got to push through that, man. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Just keep pushing. You'll get through it. Like I said earlier, as long as you keep going, you're eventually going to get to where you're going, right? So just keep that in your mind. Stay motivated. That's all I wanted to say. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going now. I know I just like was touting that I think touting is the word, touting that I just had a 5-hour energy, and you know, I wouldn't like say that's what everybody should be doing on long distance stuff. You know, if you're not used to having a lot of caffeine, I wouldn't do that. I might, especially if it's a hot day, you're sweating a lot, like don't do that. The only reason I get away with it is because I'm probably already consuming too much caffeine on a daily basis, so my body's just used to it. But if you're not, don't do that. I don't want you thinking, dude, this dude's out here doing, 20 plus miles and he's taking 5-hour energies. I should do that. Like, don't do that. You gotta kind of, like I said before, you gotta know your body. Water comes before caffeine, okay? All right. All right, almost there. We're at 26.2. That's a marathon. I keep giving myself like little goals to reach so I can get all the way to the end. And that's another point that I wanted to make, was sometimes if you have something that's like really far out there, one big goal that's going to take you a long time to get to, set yourself up with like little goals on the way there so that you can get that sense of satisfaction on your way to the big end goal. Sometimes, things seem so far out of reach. I mean, I'm working 28 miles, but you might have a goal that is going to take you like 6 years to achieve. And it's just, sometimes it just seems impossible. But like, instead of just focusing on the end game, like the long haul, focus on like little steps to get there. Focus on that next step. What do you need to do to get to that next step? And then once you get to that next step, celebrate a little bit, and then work on the next one. Yeah, so almost there. 26.3 now. Another mile and a half to go, and we're done. Almost there. 1 mile to go. 1 mile. Strong, man. I gotta finish strong. Almost there. People were like, who's this crazy guy running in the middle of the mall parking lot with a freaking bag on his back? It's a gritty soldier, bitches. All right, that's it. 28 miles. It was like 7 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. Time to go recover.